You don't know what you're clapping for. Could be wrong. Thank you very much. I did want to take a minute to thank Francesco Marace for moderating this, and I would like to thank Gilda Bayarde, who I actually met 15 years ago when she photographed a place I did in New York. And also the woman that put this together and brought all of us here, and I thank her for bringing me here, which is Elena Baturina, who is the one that is the founder and the starter of Be Open. So thank you for having me. Okay. Yes. Unique and universal. Things that are unique, things that are universal. I guess it depends on which way you're looking at it. There's many ways of looking at this, depending on your situation. And sometimes it's first to market. Sometimes it's having a great advertising company, a lot of money. Sometimes it's something that just spreads and is so interesting to so many people that it finds its place all over. I think we all remember this moment. And he's carrying in his hand a unique camera called the Hasselblad. And I think because of this moment, I think the Hasselblad became a universal product. The Vespa. It evokes happiness, fun, memories, economy. And I believe the Vespa was started after the war. They had a bunch of starter engines for the airplanes to start the motors, and somehow created an excess tires and came up with the Vespa. Now, obviously this Vespa is, it's so Italian and evokes certainly thoughts of Italy. But if you grew up in Thailand, it would evoke thoughts of Thailand as well. This product has done well. It's become it's been a universal product out of the bag. Braun. Certainly there's a load of different electronic companies. And Braun had a whole different view, a whole different way of, they actually put design in thought. They hired designers. I think this company and their products are very important because they actually put some thought into it. I was at a friend's studio today, and I was thinking, they were printing some things for me, and I think a lot of the reason designers design is, I think, for their anger. We looked. I saw in this office, and there's 8 printers, and yet not one of them is attractive. Not one of them is thought out. Not one of them is good looking. And then you see a company like Braun, who made radios that we can remember and different electrical products that are beautiful. Certainly the cost of beauty is not always sometimes it's nothing. Obviously there's beach chairs all over the world, whatever country you come from, whether it's a rock, whether it's a folded blanket, everyone has a beach chair, yet this design is manufactured and made all over the world. It is a unique design. It's very easy. It folds, it fits in the car, can be made of wood, and has been locally made all over the world. Clearly my approach is very different than the previous speakers. This lamp, I don't know who made it, but I've seen it hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. It's an incredible design, and it's engineered, and it's beautifully made, and you see it everywhere. Whether you like this lamp or not, you know this lamp. It's like getting in an elevator, and you start whistling a song that's playing, even if you hate it. But the design is so well done and so well thought out, it's everywhere. Here's a design that is absolutely universal. The Rietveld Chair. I'm pretty sure this is, this reminds me of Mondrian, Distill, a time and a period I very much like, but the interesting thing about this chair is that it folded down in a box. The design was thought of so that it could be sent to somebody and they could put it together themselves, which I believe hadn't been done before that. Well, we just heard from Gaetano Pesce. He designed this chair. And this is another version of the Rietveld chair, in the sense that I believe it's called the flat pack chair, and it was shipped in the mail, and you opened it up and it expanded into this chair. This is super interesting to me. There's a lot of people with a lot of design thoughts, theories, and I happen to, it's merging his design with technology. This is something I like. Montclair. I think we all know Montclair. If you're French, I think this probably evokes memories as a child, as an adult. Everyone had Montclair. Montclair was a brand that was not so fancy. I think it was a utilitarian brand. And people needed to be warm. They went and bought a Montclair jacket. With the help of designers, I don't know what the proportion of growth is, but I would have to guess that Montclair over the last 10 years has probably grown 100 times what they had in the last 30 years. And this is, for me, it's super significant. I think that design is super, super important. And, I walk around. One of the reasons I like Las Vegas, for instance, is that everything is so poorly designed for me. It's facades, it's make-believe. I don't have to fix anything. It's really peaceful. I think a lot of designers walk around the world and imagine things being different. Imagine changing that, putting a vent there, lowering something there, changing the color. And I find Las Vegas very relaxing in the sense that I fix nothing. I think the only way to fix Vegas is with probably a lot of explosives. But I think Montclair is very significant. It's a company that was going along and known for a staple product, like a Tabasco for food. And they hired designers, and their explosion and their mass appeal was very quick. In fact, I think Montclair is so big, you can buy a down jacket in Sardinia this summer by Montclair. They've expanded everywhere. And I think they've done a good job. Thonet. I think this is the first bentwood furniture a couple of brothers in Austria started, and you could also put those together at home. But I think this is something that's unique, that became incredibly universal. I think that you'll find these mostly in every corner of the world. Allora, the Riva. This is Riva somehow. I mean, basically, you can make a boat. Anyone can make a boat. If you have some wood, some resin, and some fiberglass, you can pour it together. You can even do a sloppy job. Most of the boat companies, there must be 1,500 boat companies in America alone. a father and a son, an individual. Most of the components, the electrical parts, the engines, the steering wheel, the running gear, they're all purchased and added on to the boat. There's no Riva engine. There's no Ferretti engine. I don't think there's a single boat manufacturer I don't think there's an engine manufacturer that actually makes a boat. Perhaps maybe Honda, who ironically hasn't been very successful in the boating market. But Riva, every country in the world has made runabouts. And Riva, because of the design, has had such a universal appeal. And I think the Riva, one could consider the Mona Lisa of the runabout, universally. This particular Riva, Mark Newson did last year and changed the boat, and I happen to work with Mark quite often, and I put Mark together with Riva, and this is what they came up with. And I find it incredibly interesting. The boat's been very appealing, but he kept the DNA of the boat. Even if you didn't know Mark Newson didn't, even if you saw this in the distance, you still know it's a Riva. And as you look closer, you see the change in design. And boy, is it exciting. Okay, universal and unique. We obviously know the Volkswagen. Here's a product that went out universally at the time. It was budgeting. It helped. It was great for families. It was conservative in gas and incredibly successful. Probably everybody in this room has been in one. And even though I love the Cinquecento, it's one of my favorite cars, this went everywhere. This is an interesting product. Everyone knows the iPhone. The iPhone's everywhere. It's everywhere. We've all seen lines around the corner. I mean, you could pull up to an Apple store at times and wonder if Mick Jagger was inside. The lines, people wait for a product, something that we've never seen in terms of design. This designed by Johnny Ive. There's there's dozens and dozens of cell phones, loads and loads of them ahead of this. But like my first kiss, I remember the first time I put my fingers on an iPhone, or for that bit, a piece of electronics, and slid my fingers and opened up a picture, moved something across the screen. The design of this is so powerful, as well with the interface, it became such a universal product. Evokes happiness. Everybody has a drying rack for their dishes. This one, another object done by Mark Newson. Because of the design, everyone spends hours and hours in the kitchen. The combination of being in the kitchen. Here's an item that became universal as a result of good design. Instead of just a wooden rack sitting on a dirty piece of rubber, he incorporated the bottom and the top, put drainage holes, add a bunch of colors to it, and this was a universally successful product based on design, based on something that everyone uses every day. Another Mark Newson product, everyone that has kids. I have an 11-year-old daughter. I've purchased 2 sets of bunk beds already for her. As a parent in the design world, there's loads and loads of bunk beds available everywhere. But when I see something designed like this, it's so well made and made smart, rotation molded, made so that the cost is beneficial. The cost is available. It's available for people to purchase at a price they can afford. When I look at this, I think complete happiness. I love the colors. And as a parent, it probably takes less than 5 minutes to put together, which makes me happy. I've spent endless hours putting things together for my daughter. Another product that's universal, and because of its uniqueness, you can go to Thailand and find this design sitting on the floor, a dirt floor of somebody's house. You can find this everywhere in the world. Okay. Now I'm going to talk about me. I've been working on a project that, I don't know, probably 12, 14 months ago, I was sitting around and I was thinking about what would make me happy to design, what would make me happy, inspired. And I grew up on a river. My house was on the river, and every day in the summer I would go down there, and I just became fascinated with these rafts. People would raft every day down the river. So it started at about 7 years old. And being a Cancer, I've just been always interested in the water. I barefoot water ski. I surf. I swim. And I cliff dive. The water is everything for me. I love the water, and I have to be near the water. This is a house I designed 10 years ago for myself out at the beach. The whole other side is water. I've been lucky enough to be the guest on a number of big yachts, something I can't afford. And I've been on some really big yachts, 60, 70, 80, 90-meter yachts. And I never understood. It seemed silly walking up and down. It seemed that most of the boats are built in a wedding cake fashion, where if you want to go lay out in the sun, the further you walk upstairs. And I remember sitting on a boat one day, and I was in the south of Italy, and I was thinking that it seemed really ridiculous that this boat, which is so beautiful and so nice, and I don't know, probably cost 100 million euros, that these poor people sit out in the sun, and 15 minutes later they have to walk 4 flights down to jump into the water. And then they have to walk 4 flights up again to lay out in the sun. So I came up with the Sea Cabana. And this is a project that is just in production now and will be launching in a few weeks. The other problem I found is that having come to the Mediterranean and had the good fortune of traveling a lot of places in the world, the jellyfish, the medusa, are so bad that people don't want to swim. And you're constantly having to look in the water. I grew up in California and have been in New York for 26 years. In New York, the jellyfish, you just sort of brush off you and take a shower. The jellyfish here really hurt you, can leave a scar. And the last thing you'd want is have one of your children being bit by a jellyfish, stung by a jellyfish. So in the middle of this, I created a pool. You can change it. You can switch around. The components are interchangeable. So here you are, and you want peace. I'm developing one for places in the Middle East where women are not allowed to swim. So they'll have big tents where women can enjoy the sea like the men and not be seen. They come in a variety of colors. And here you can see the jellyfish netting. So one could sit behind a boat all day and be tethered along. And universally, it's green, it burns no oil, it has no electronics, it ships country to country. And here, it can be branded. So it can be put in front of a hotel. This is a Ritz-Carlton branding. This is a beautiful sight. I think we can all agree on that. They'll never have a beach. And they'll never have a place to swim out to lay down on. This is a friend of mine's hotel, beautiful hotel in Jamaica called Rock House. They will never own any beach, and they can't get any beach. So my product answers the question to how to expand, how to put people out, and basically it's floating real estate. It's also temporary, it doesn't have to be moored. So in most municipalities, it's actually a legal product, whereas if you wanted to put a dock or something permanent, they wouldn't let you. So during the course of designing this, I was thinking of a lot of different things of what this product could solve. You know, whether you like the design or not, it's quite an achievement. This adds real estate for them. This is the prototype. And you'll be happy to know it's made in Italy. So the floor can come out. It can be made in two. It can be put in a jellyfish netting can be put underneath or changed. This takes about 15 minutes for two people to put out or to construct, erect. Anyway, there you go. That's what I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Grazie, Stuart.